really, really interesting. Just something to
I
think
know.
about. Just something to think about. Yeah, I mean, get the tea sip on off of, you know.
I know. And I like that mug. It's very
You see
arrogant.
that
You know,
M?
that's my style.
You know that.
I should have brought a mug over here with an S on it, but I don't think I own one.
Missy Vaughn got this one for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
She is one of the greatest parents ever lived.
Yeah,
Original thug.
the original.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that was a really good one.
That was heavy.
It was heavy.
Heavier than we anticipated.
It was heavier than we anticipated because all I said is, "Don't you live in New York?"
Ain't you from out there in New York City? Makes me want to watch Life.
Yo, one of the greatest movies of all time.
It is.
It really is. Like it
It
really
is the
is.
Black community.
Absolutely. You
Yes.
know, Life, Coming to America, it's on that line.
Yes. Bamboozled. That's my
Bamboozle.
movie.
I
That was
mean,
deep.
listen, watch that Joan several times a month.
Yes. And I don't think it really clicked for me as a college student. All of the Spike moments and all the pieces of knowledge that Spike was trying to impart.
Yeah, yeah. That's how he does. He does it in such a profound but almost like subliminal way,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
I mean, some stuff he just is right, but like, for example, when he did the part with Al Sharpton, and
Fresh on memory.
Al Sharpton shows up when they're protesting outside of the company because of the movie or whatever, and I think it was he gave Damon Wayans the line about how Al Sharpton is an opportunist.
Mm.
That was heavy. I think that was very blatant. And Al Sharpton was literally really in that movie. So the fact that that was the line was really interesting. But that's what I'm saying. He'll just be like, it'll be like a profound thing that sometimes will go right over somebody's head.
Right. It's true. You know what? It's funny because when you brought up that film, the scene that I think about is Jada Pinkett's character on her way home, and how she's coming out of the subway, but how the environment changes when she gets to her neighborhood, and how that level of subway steps are elevated, and the streets are completely clean, and it's like these beautiful homes, and it really reminded me of this idea that when you make it, you get out, you know when you make it, whatever make it is, you get out,
Right. And you have touched something right there, hon, because I'm gonna tell you, I feel I have a lot of things that I want to do, and I have a lot of places that I want to go, and I see myself there. But even at this one step, using that, using that same subway stair analogy, right? There's just one step. As soon as I got the opportunity to get out of the city, I was out of there. I love my city. Absolutely love my city.
Yeah.
But when I had the opportunity to go to somewhere quieter, calmer, I was out. And so, just equating that to, me having, or if I were, or when, right, I get to that next step in my life where I will be in a place where I buy a home, it's going to be in a place that I did not grow up in.
Yeah. And that's
So,
real.
yeah. Does that make you a sellout?
Now here's the thing. Now see, now I gotta get some chips to go with this. No, I'm just here's the thing. I guess I have to understand. Let me say this. I understand being a sellout to be someone who is
What is
anti-black
that?
culture. So I I understand a sellout to be someone who is against that works against black culture. When you describe your decision to purchase elsewhere, I don't see it that way as a sellout. And this is why I say this, because you and I have talked over the years about some norms that we both grew up under, whether it was Brooklyn or Philly. And neither one of those norms set well with us. And so I got out too. And
Mm-hmm.
I got out with the intention of not returning
Mm-hmm.
because there was a version of myself that had to exist in order to survive. Thriving was not an option. I had to survive. And that version of myself did not represent my spirit. And so I needed to be relocated, or else there was going to become a point in my life where I gave into that version completely because I've only understood life to be about survival.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're talking about now just speaking from my circumstance, I think I would be a sellout if I distance myself from my family who still lives in those environments. And I do still have family who live there. If I distance myself because I felt it was beneath me,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be considered a sellout. But leaving, I aspire to more than that. That environment I grew up in represented the best that my mom had to offer. My mom, my dad had to offer at that time, and it came with some trade-offs. But now, once you hit a certain age, what exists around you, what life is created, is based on you. You can't blame that on childhood anymore. That's adulthood, you know? And so I look at it as I need to put myself in the environment that I can afford. And I got to be able to afford some spiritual peace.
Absolutely. Hmm. I want to ask you another question.
Oh, Lord.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I think this is the last. This is gonna be the last one because every time you say something, it makes me think of something else, and it's like it takes it to another level every time. And so that's why I love talking to you. But this is my question: when you say your spiritual peace, talk. Let's talk. Let's just have this conversation really quick, just real quick. We don't have to get all into it too crazy,
Okay.
but I've been seeing this a lot. This has been a trend that I've seen with especially Black people, African American people, however you want to call
Hmm.
us, people that look like me,
Right.
right? Where they are kind of shunning a Christianity. I've been seeing it like a whole lot recently,
It's
right?
true.
And it's like, shunning Christianity and religion and kind of putting that in a category of religion, if that makes sense. Like saying like religion is whatever, and everything that is religion is Christianity and slave master and like you have that whole category, and then I hear a lot of talk about spirituality and how that's a separate thing. That I even seen images where like they had like a bird in a cage was religion, and then the bird that was without the cage was spirituality. But it seems to be a shift that I am seeing in our culture specifically, and
Hmm.
as of late, where there has been a lot of talk about spirituality and about kind of breaking loose from the confines, so to speak, of religion.
Right.
So do you have any thoughts on that? So because when you said your spiritual piece, that just made me think of that whole shift in our culture. Yeah.
I think I've seen that as well. I would agree with you. I've definitely seen that. I don't know that I agree with all aspects of that, um, particularly because Christianity was on the continent before Europeans were on the continent snatching up folks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like Islam was on the continent before then. And so, see, this is why it's good. We got the bookshelf. I'm 2 seconds off of grabbing some books, saying if y'all haven't read this, this is what you need to be spending your time reading. But I think that one thing has been consistent across the board. I gotta get this book. All right. So this book is called Exchanging Our Country Marks. Author is Michael Gomez. He's a historian. This is a really great read, and it really does talk about the meticulous construction of American slavery. And in his research, and the reason why I bring it up too, in his research, he really talks about how much spirituality that cannot be tied to the doctrines of Christianity or Islam is connected to the Africans that were in America, which leads you to believe historically it was already in existence on the continent. And so I bring that up to say I think that Black people have always operated in this dual existence where we talk about spirituality as the things that are not easily defined in Christianity and Islam. And then we talk about Christianity and Islam together. And they always have gone together in the Black community. You know, you still went to church on Sunday, but went to the witch doctor on Friday if your man wasn't acting right. You know what I mean? And the greatest anthropologist, you know, Zora Neale Hurston, she made that very clear to everyone. But I think that the idea of Christianity being like a cage that starts with a master, I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that. And I'm not sure I really, I see why people come to that perspective, but I think it's a limiting argument because I think the more research that you read around religion and African people, the more it'll make you wonder if that's the only time that we should be discussing Christianity. You know, that Christianity is the existence of Christianity and African people predates slavery.
Right.
So I'm a little bit on the fence about how I feel about that. But I think that in my personal spiritual walk, there was a time when I felt that Christianity wasn't enough.
Okay.
And I think that we are seeing across the world, but definitely across Black Americans, this kind of raised level of consciousness. And I don't know if it has to do with the amount of information that's always available through social media outlets, but this raised level of consciousness is drawing us closer to our ancestral roots. And I think that once we spend more time exploring that, we don't have to spend any energy describing what somebody else is doing, you know, whether they're a bird in a cage. Like, that's not even, in my opinion, that's not even your business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, I get where people are coming from with that, but I feel like that's step one. We're gonna go back to the steps. That's step one.
Right.
Get off that step.
Right. Get off the step. But I mean, I just thought that's definitely something to think about. You know, because when you said that shift of consciousness, it just made me think of so many different things. Like you're saying, it's not just spirituality; it's about awareness
Yes.
just I think that's the best word to just say, and a total awareness
Right.
that has several sub headings, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our greatest authors have always encapsulated that part of the Black community. You look at Toni Morrison and you look at Song of Solomon. These are still Christian folks, but they're really talking about the African perspective of the ring circle. I think that people should explore more of what spirituality means to them.
Right. Right. Good point. Well, I loved this conversation. This conversation was amazing. And I thank you so much for allowing me to have the opportunity to speak with you today.
Absolutely. And with my lack of haircut, my hair is just growing ridiculous.
But it looks beautiful still. Love your hair.
Thank you.
Always
Thank
have.
you.
So thank you.